Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of the Tingling Tea, where we spill the tea on the strange and the supernatural, the weird and the wonderful, the creepy and the cryptid, and everything that is phenomenally freaky. With me tonight is my team from Cliff Dive Productions. We'd like to introduce first Miss Annabelle Chimpton. Hello, Annabelle.
Ooh, what's spooking?
Hey, it's almost Halloween, our favorite time of the year. I
That's what I'm
cannot
saying.
I know, right? Ooh, I have something to tell both of you all, but I can't tell one without the other. So let's introduce Mr. August Peterson. Hey, August,
Hey,
how are you?
happy Halloween. Oh, I'm great now that it's Halloween.
I know. Well, tonight, I just want to tell the audience that we are missing Hash. Hash isn't feeling well. So we're actually driving this ourselves tonight. So we might have a few glitches, but I think
Mm,
we'll be okay.
good luck,
Um,
Hash. Feel
yeah,
better.
we miss you, Hash, and we really are, cheering you on. And if you are someone who's watching this broadcast and you don't like this kind of content, because we will be sharing some very creepy and scary content, I ask that you either turn us off or you turn us down. And if you have children watching, to please use your discretion as far as the content tonight. All right. So, my two skeptics, how are you?
I'm doing good. I have a question.
Yes.
Why do we always introduce Annabelle before we introduce me? I'm just curious.
Um, Annabelle, A-N goes before A-U.
Oh, so it's alphabetical? That's what you're saying?
Correct. But I can say that, Annabelle could actually start the show because it's before both of your names begin with the A and mine is an L.
That's
That's
Now,
true.
true.
We
yeah,
should try that.
it
Yeah,
ain't
watch
gonna
what
And
happen.
happens if I
It
do
ain't
the
gonna happen.
intros.
Yeah. So it's a no.
What's spooking, you spooky cats?
Oh, oh no. I feel bad for that. It just can't happen. It just can't happen. So I have to tell you all that this weekend I went somewhere. Um, I was asked to do some press for It Came From the Radio, It Came From the Radio is a radio show that features geekdom at its finest. And we usually do work with It Came From the Radio with the Bit and Apple TV. We do it in conjunction with them. So occasionally, Mark Torres, who is the top announcer there, he usually asks me to go and do press photos for him for events if he can't make it. So this particular event we went to, it was here in New Jersey in Asbury Park, and I went to Haunting Asbury, which was at the Berkeley Hotel in Asbury Park, and what the history is about the Berkeley Hotel is the Berkeley Hotel actually is haunted. So they decided to have this pop up event there. Now it was very COVID conscious. I had to have my temperature taken before I went in. They had like a very sophisticated thing where you put your face there and it actually took your temperature. It was very sophisticated. Um, and I got a personal tour of all the scenes that they had set up. Around the event. So we went into different rooms, and some of the rooms were supposedly more haunted than others. I have some really great photos, and maybe I could share those photos with us on the next show. But prior to me going to the festivities, this is for people that are 21 and over. Prior to me going in there, they took me in to have a drink, to sit down until I had a special, tour guide. I took photos of the ballroom where they had the bar set up, and I think I captured something in my photos. So let me
let's
share
see
this with
it.
you. Let me share this with you.
Yeah.
This is going to be very interesting.
Are you going to share it with us? Are you
Yes,
keeping us in suspense?
I am keeping you
It's
in
a
suspense.
tactic to build up suspense.
Whoop, nope,
Oh, that's a scary
that's a
photo.
scary photo right there. That's a definitely scary photo.
You know what? I used to be a skeptic, but
And now you're not.
After
But now
seeing
you're not.
this,
You're not a skeptic, right?
I thought it was 21. I thought, oh, this is it?
This is it. So this is what I saw. This right here.
Can you make it a little bigger?
Let me see if I can make it bigger. Maybe that.
Maybe press the plus button.
Duh.
Interesting.
So what do you think? Now, I'm going to tell you, I took photos in all of the rooms, and I did not see anything like this.
Did you clean your camera lens
I
before
did.
this? Or, okay.
I did. I'm telling you all, that's something.
Did they have like lights, like spotlights or something in that room?
No, it was definitely lit for mood. There were no spotlights or anything like that. And I thought perhaps it was from like smoke machines or something like that, but I didn't capture anything else like that in any of the other rooms.
That's pretty spooky.
Yeah. Totally
It goes
not
through
what I expected.
It goes through the entire, from the ceiling all the way down to the middle of the picture.
Mhm.
So
And I thought it might have been the lights, reflecting, but it's not the lights because it wouldn't be one stream of one beam like this. It just would not be that way. There's definitely some kind of a wisp going on there.
and what were you feeling when you were in this room? Did it feel different or did it feel just the same?
So I have to tell you that when I went through the whole event, there were a couple of rooms that I felt very creepy in. They left me alone in a couple of the rooms. And I mean, I knew that what was in there was not, anything that was terrifying or whatever. I was only left in there for a few seconds, but I did get some very odd feelings about this room in particular. And then there's another room that I took a picture of, which I'll share maybe next week, where I was in a bathroom with a mannequin. But very, 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 very scary.
Wow. Well, that is very cool.
Thank
I
you.
would not know how to explain that.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm thinking that might be something definitely haunting.
And
So
all the rest of the photos you took that night didn't have anything like that in it.
didn't have anything like that in it. Nothing like that at all. Nothing like that at all. So apparently the hotel is haunted because there's a few things that happened there at the hotel. There was a huge a cruise ship crashed off the coast, at the Atlantic Ocean, and it washed up by the hotel because the hotel does have like its private beach area. But also in the 40s, this was like the last place the sailors went to before they had their last hurrah before they went off to World War II. So there's a lot of apparently there's been some suicides there too. So definitely I caught something. I also went on TripAdvisor and looked at some of the comments that people have left about staying at this hotel.
Yep.
And there's nothing but a consistent run of things about people saying that it's haunted.
So you went to a haunted house that was in rooms of a haunted hotel.
Exactly. Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, that sounds pretty scary.
So what are you saying? Are you saying that we should do this?
I would go, yeah.
Heck yeah. I'm in.
Would you stay the night there?
Uh, I don't know. There are some rooms that they said specifically are, people book those rooms just to stay there for, like water shutting on and off, not being able to come out and get out of your room, the door locks, you can't get out, kind of stuff like that.
Wow.
There's like no way that it could be scarier than Phasmophobia, so I am up for the challenge.
You're just crazy, Annabelle. That's why.
I will definitely do that.
All
It
right.
can't be scarier than waking up and finding a mouse in my bed one time at a hotel, which did actually happen. So
Honestly, that would probably have made me scream more as well.
I can't even imagine.
I was like, what is on my leg?
What?
It was a mouse.
It was on your leg?
Oh yeah, it was under the covers.
Oh no. No.
Yeah.
And how did you know that it was a mouse? How did you find out it was a mouse?
Oh, I saw it. It was a mouse.
No thanks.
Yeah.
So listen, last week, we'll come back to that story. We have to move on.
That's just a teaser.
Yeah, just as a tease. last week we talked about our top 5 horror films. Top two. Well, we have many horror films that we love to watch this time of the year, and we could only get through 5 last week. But this week we're going to talk about another 5 and why we like them and introduce them to the audience. Now, some of the audience members may know some of these films, and some of them you may not know. You've never watched them, but it's something to put on your list to watch. So we're going to start with August's top 5. Let me pull that up real quick.
Keep clicking buttons. You'll get the right button.
Stop clicking.
Click another button until it works. Keep clicking.
Cut it out. Give me a chance here. Give me a chance.
We already did that segment.
I know we did. I got to move forward. August, I'm going to make you do this next time.
Oh, I'll do it.
Yeah, really. This is trying to run this and talk at the same time is really difficult. It's like going like this at the same time. All right, let's move forward.
Let's see what you have first.
All right. So.
Oh, there it is. Oh, there we are. Cliff Dive
Your
Productions.
first film, August top 5.
Ooh, I get a slide header.
Yeah, you get a slide header.
Look at this. Oh, who would not love a face like this, really? So my first film is of course, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, rated R. It came out in 1974.
Wow.
Everybody, 1974, and this was amazing when it came out in 1974. I mean, if you could imagine, this was the granddaddy of a lot of the slasher films that we experience today. It's about 2 siblings and 3 of their friends en route to visit their grandmother's grave in Texas and end up falling victim to a family of cannibalistic psychopaths and must survive the terrors of Leatherface and his family. Leatherface is, of course, that beautiful person you see in front of you. And it starred Marilyn Burns as Sally and Gunnar Hansen as Leatherface. And it was directed by a gentleman named Tobe Hooper.
Oh, Tobe Hooper, who did also Poltergeist. He did the special effects for Poltergeist and some other stuff too, right?
I don't know. You might be getting all over my future content for a future thing.
Okay,
I don't know.
Go ahead. I'm a huge
All
fan
right.
of Tobe Hooper.
So this was fantastic because of its use of sort of minimalistic music. The sound effects were very effective. They were very eerie and crazy. And the time period when it came out, there was just nothing else like this in 1974. So it was one of those classic gritty 70s movies that just survived the test of time. Let's move on to the next one. The next one is The Conjuring.
Ooh, that's a good pick.
That is
Yeah. Why do I love The Conjuring? I love The Conjuring because I grew up in Connecticut, and that's where Ed and Lorraine Warren lived. So The Conjuring is rated R. It came out in 2013. It's about paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren, and they work to help a family terrorized by a dark presence in their farmhouse. And it stars Vera Farmiga and Patrick Wilson as Ed and Lorraine, and the exceptional and one of my favorite actresses, Lily Taylor, as the mother of the family being haunted. It is absolutely exceptional. Every once in a while you have a new approach to an old genre that just makes it fresh and exciting. And this was that one that came out, and it just brought real scares, fantastic acting, excellent movie, excellent production. So this is definitely worth it. Definitely worth it. Next, there we are again. The Shining. Oh my goodness. The Shining.
That's a classic.
yes.
Unbelievable classic. Rated R again. Came out in 1980.
My time.
That's right. I just love Shelley Duvall in this. She's amazing. So a family heads to an isolated hotel for the winter where a sinister presence influences the father into violence, while his psychic son sees horrific forebodings from both past and future. Amazing. It stars Jack Nicholson, Shelley Duvall, Scatman Crothers is in this, and he's amazing. And it is directed by the one and only Stanley Kubrick. So this is a classic Kubrick. If you watch this, you will have to see it multiple times before you see all the different layers and things there are to discover in this movie. It's a horror to begin with. You'll love it. But the next time you watch it, you'll find even more. And the next time, even more. It's just the horror movie that constantly gives. And I particularly love it because it scared the heck out of my mother. So I remember I went and I bought a big poster of Jack Nicholson's face in the wall. Mm-hmm. And I hung it on the back of her bathroom door. So when she looked in the mirror, she saw that reflection in the mirror. That was, hearing those screams from my mother's bathroom door was just pure joy for a young child. So love you, Mom. So all right. So let's move on to the next one.
So I have a quick note on that.
Yes.
I just made the connection that Shelley Duvall is also an actress. I played a game of hers growing up called Shelley Duvall's It's a Bird's Life on the 3DO game system.
Oh.
Wow.
Which is not a scary game at all. And I am jaw-dropped that it's the same person. I just double-checked it before I made this comment.
Well, Shelley Duvall's an actress. She is, she's done a variety of different things, including this. She unfortunately was in the news recently because of some struggles she's having with mental illness. However, she's great also in Popeye, the movie Popeye, as Olive Oil.
She is the Olive Oil come to life.
She is perfection as Olive Oil. Just perfection.
She definitely is. Let's go forward.
All right. So the next one is very similar to our stuff, called Poltergeist. If you look at our Tingling Tea logo, it looks something like this movie here. And it's rated, this came to as a surprise to me, it's rated PG. I thought it was rated R, but it's rated PG, which is kind of surprising considering its content in 1982 when it came out. So it's about a family home being haunted by a host of demonic ghosts. And it stars Jo Beth Williams, Craig T. Nelson, and the indomitable Zelda Rubinstein as the psychic Tangina. Many people think that this was directed by Steven Spielberg, but not Leslie, because Leslie knows the reality, and that's that he helped write this movie, but he was not the director. Tobe Hooper got the director credit. There is a lot of rumor going around that Steven had a lot of influence in the directing and the final outcome of this movie, but the credit actually went to Tobe Hooper. So thank you for pointing that out.
Yes.
Les. All right, so let's move on to the next one.
Okay.
And final one for me. So the next, there's more. I love it. So the next and final one is one of my favorite movies because it's so goofy and fun and I love it. And it's called House. No, it's not the TV show. No, it's not another movie. There's like 300 movies called House on IMDb. This is the only House you need to worry about. This is rated R. It came out in 1985 in the wonderful era of the early 80s where we had a host of fantastic horror movies. It's about a troubled writer who moves into a haunted house after he inherits it from his aunt. And it stars William Catt. Now, those of a certain age will remember William Catt as a particular greatest American hero. I remember it. I remember dreamy. He was a dreamy, but he couldn't fly for anything. This poor hero kept crashing into stuff. So it also stars Kay Lenz and George Wendt. George Wendt, some people might remember from a TV show called Night Court. So
And Cheers.
And Cheers. Yes, absolutely. It was directed by Steve Miner, who might be a name that people have heard of before because he helped produce Friday the 13th Part 1. And then he went on to direct Friday the 13th Part 2 and 3 in 3D. And then he went on to have a fantastic career, including directing Halloween H2O, like Placid, and a variety of different things that don't have to do with the horror genre. But he has really become a name in the world. I love this because it's, again, if you saw the episode last week, it's that beautiful mix of camp and horror that just make it so uniquely entertaining and wonderful to see. So it's not complete horror, it's not complete camp. It has something to say, but it's completely, you're not completely scared 100% of the time, which is nice. All right, so that is my top 5.
All right. So
That's a good 5, Eddie.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good, Eddie. I applaud.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
All right. So Annabelle.
So
let's go to your time.
I just have a disclaimer before we scroll down. When I got this prompt, it was the Halloween prompt, not the horror prompt. So keep that in mind as we traverse into the darkness.
Yes, but it is Halloween. It's Halloween horror flick. So
It is.
Horror flicks.
It does.
Horror. I missed the horror part,
but that's okay because horror has levels. So you're good.
Well, welcome to the first level of horror. These had to go as a single movie because I think they can only be experienced as a unit. So this is the Halloween Town movies. They are a Disney Channel original movie, so they did not get a theatrical release. Straight to TV. That's how you know it's good. But these were directed by Duane Dunham, and the whole concept is that there's this dimension that is Halloween year-round. And I think, especially if you're a millennial, this is one of those must-watch movies because it's just like you probably grew up watching it on Disney Channel, and then now you can go back and revisit it because you've gotten a lot older, but they're still partying Halloween year-round. It has Debbie Reynolds, if you recognize that.
Oh my God, Debbie Reynolds! I am watching this from start to finish.
Reynolds. Yeah, you got to start with number 1 and watch the first 3, but you don't need to watch the 4th. And then it also has Judith Hoag, who is the mom. And the other 2, we have Kimberly Brown as Marnie, and Emily Roska as Sophie, and Joey Zimmerman as Dylan. I think these movies, they're totally delightful romp. There's nothing serious about them. There's nothing scary about them unless you're watching them with maybe a 2-year-old, but they hold a special place in my heart, and they've gotten to rewatch quite a few years when the season rolls around. So they had to be higher up in my list. And look at the costume design.
Amazing. I'm really enjoying these photos.
Very
I
Halloween.
have been to where they filmed all of the outside scenes. It's about 40 minutes outside of Portland, and it is a very fun experience every Halloween because they put the giant pumpkin and the square back up, and they do a whole event about it.
Oh,
That's
wow.
amazing.
That's nice. That's nice. I love this color.
It's fun. It's lighthearted.
Yeah, it's very nice. Okay, let's go to your next one. Oh.
Okay, so if you don't know what this movie is, I don't want to even tell you too much about it. You should probably just pause right here and go watch it. This is one of the worst horror movies of all time.
But so bad you gotta love it.
So bad you've got to love it. It was directed by Claudio Fragasso, and apparently no one knows about a Troll 1, to my knowledge. There's only a Troll 2. And the concept, it has so many iconic...
That can't be right. I'm going to look this stuff up
I
right now.
think it's Trolls. I think it might be Trolls, but not Trolls 1. Is there such a thing, Trolls?
I feel like the urban myth is that there was never a Troll 1. There's only a Troll 2.
Here it is. Here's Troll, 1986.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, there is. I remember watching it because I used to watch every bad B horror movie out there.
So you've seen the original one?
Yes, I have, and I've seen this one too. And the
Which one
acting
was
was just
better?
well.
This is
I
my
can say-
favorite scene. This
Yes.
guy right here.
Yes.
Oh my God, this is the worst scene ever.
Ever.
Have you seen the
acting
movie,
is so bad.
August?
The acting is so bad.
Oh, I've seen it.
Yes.
I do not let a campy movie go by. I
Yeah.
must watch them all.
This
and
is
this
ultimate
is
camp.
Yes.
this is high on the list.
Oh,
They're
and
eating her, and then
right
they're
here.
going to eat me.
Yeah,
Oh
this
my
one,
God!
This acting right here. I don't know where they got this chick, but oh,
What? She's great. She's an icon.
yeah. Well, yeah. It's bad. And look at the makeup on this too. It's so like 80s. I don't know, 80s witchcraft, Wiccan witchcraft looking. I don't know.
There's no continuity in any of the scenes.
No.
It's everywhere, and it's amazing. I
So-
love the camp horrible movies
Oh,
when
yeah.
I can stumble across
Yeah.
them. They're always a must watch for me.
Definitely.
And this is look at this, all the goo, and the masks that
They
were
look so
worn.
realistic.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that one. Okay, let's go to your third one.
Okay, number 3, Coraline. This
Oh,
is
wow.
a stop motion movie produced by Leica Studios. The director is Henry Selick. It's the story of a young girl who moves into like this house with an alternate dimension that she goes into, and there's like a whole story about like buttons for eyes. It's very spooky. It's stop motion. It is an incredible movie. Actually Dakota Fanning voices the little girl
Oh
in this,
wow.
and it's an adaptation from a Neil Gaiman novel.
Yeah, I'm familiar with the novel.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's really good. Really good.
I watched this morning, believe it or not, and it is such a fun one. Like the world they've built is just so beautiful. It is totally amazing. The music is good, the story is good, and if you haven't seen it, I think it's definitely worth a watch.
Wait, isn't today a day you're supposed to be working, Annabelle? You watched it this morning?
We had a Halloween party on my team.
Oh, fun.
Yep.
It's so fun where you work.
So we had a Halloween party on my team, and I talked them out of watching Hubie Halloween and instead watching Coraline. So
Oh, thank God for that.
Yeah,
Yes.
definitely. All right. Well, I guess it's me next. My films, my top 5. So I'm gonna.
Oh, okay. I thought I had
No.
2 more.
No, I just put 1, 2, and 3. No, you did you? Oh wait, let's just see. Wait a minute, I might be right.
We'll roll with it, whatever's next.
No.
I don't know.
Nope, you do. Go ahead.
Les is a little overwhelmed. Just go with the flow.
Just go.
Go with the
Just go
flow.
with- yeah.
Paranormal Activity. It is a found footage feeling ghost movie. This movie to me is iconic because it's the first movie that I threw a laptop across the room.
Out of being scared, or because it was so horrible and
Because it horrified me. Okay, like I said, I'm a skeptic, but this movie got me. Everything is filmed like it's a found footage, so it feels real when you're watching it at the time. It was created by Oren Peli, and the cast has Katie Featherstone, Micah Sloat, Sprague Graydon. I didn't know any of them because I think that was the intent, is that it's
They'd
just
have
a
to
found
big
footage film.
name actor,
Yeah. And it's so well done. The atmospheric stuff is slow. It's a slow burn film, and by the end of it, you're just so tense and so scared. There's one scene where someone is like sleepwalking and just staring at someone else for a bunch of hours on the baby camera.
Oh no.
Like they're just she's just like standing there for like a bunch of hours straight, and
is that it right there?
that might have been the scene that got me.
Oh no. Oh, that just gave me the chills even looking at it.
Yeah, it's so good, and it's such a low budget one too. Like they filmed it all in a house, I'm pretty sure, unless it was a really well done studio.
No, I think that's somebody's house they use, definitely.
Yeah, I think this was a great use of that particular genre of the found footage. It was really great, really effective.
Okay, the
Uh-oh.
last one I had is a classic, and if you have not seen this movie, you're not doing horror right. Night of the Living Dead. This is the zombie movie.
This is a zombie movie that made all zombie movies.
It sure
Directed,
was.
produced, and photographed by George Romero. 1968. It is not rated. So, if I recall, though, like this is one that's pretty spooky, but there's not too many crazy themes. I'd give it like a PG-13 or something in today's standards.
Yeah, we lost Les for a second, but I do recall that there was a big this back in the day when this actually came out. There was a lot of people against this movie. It was a real event for people to go to and see. A lot of people brought their dates to this movie in hopes that they would get someone to hold on to. So, in fact, that happened to my parents. My dad actually loved bringing my mom to this movie, and she hates this movie to this day. I'm saying far too much about my mother in this episode, but absolutely, that is a terrific choice.
Hold on 1 second. Let me. Somehow I got dropped out of the broadcast. So
You're good.
And we missed you. We saw that.
Yeah, it was weird. I've been having some very strange things happening lately. That's all I'm gonna say.
You took one too many pictures at the hotel.
I think
That's
so.
right.
And I look at it. The shots are all so great. It's just a beautiful film. It is the zombie film.
If I recall, this was when they had the option of shooting in color, but they made the actual choice to do this in black and white for the effect.
I have read the same as well.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things that's very important about this film is you have to see is that this was normally never done, that the black man would be the hero in a film.
That's right.
And this is what made it so controversial in the 60s, given everything that was going on at this time, that he would be the savior of everyone. So it was very controversial. Not only that, the gore content too was, above par. It was like,
It was more than what was ever seen prior to that.
Definitely.
Yeah, and then these days we're like, oh yeah, that's probably PG.
Yeah.
It's PG gore.
All right, so let me go into mine, I guess, next.
Yes, let's see what your top 5 are.
Okay. Well, I just lost all of my banners. Hold on 1 second.
All right. You can always just talk about them. Oh, you found it. Good.
And, oh. So
Press the buttons.
Press the button. Stop to press the button. Okay, my first film is The Sentinel. It's a 1977 horror film that was filmed in New York. It's a supernatural horror film directed by Michael Weiner and our winner, and it stars Christina Rains, Chris Sarandon, Ava Gardner, Burgess Meredith, Sylvia Miles, Eli Wallach, Jeff Goldblum. I mean, there are so many actors that became famous that are in this film. There even is a shot of Anna Visitor in this film, who was of the Star Trek Voyager, Star Trek Deep Space Nine fame.
Wow.
So the story is that this woman, she is a model here in New York City, and she's looking for an apartment to rent. She wants to, even despite the fact that her boyfriend wants her to move in with him and everything like that, she wants to strike out on her own. So she finds this Brooklyn brownstone that's been sectioned off into apartments with the kind that have like these huge doors and huge windows and everything. And the building, the reason why her rent was so cheap is because the Catholic diocese owns this particular building. But there are some strange people that live in this building. One, there's a strange, same-sex couple that lives downstairs. There's this old man that has a cat, a black and white cat named Mortimer, who plays, but this is Burgess Meredith. And then there's a priest that lives on the top floor.
Ooh, is that the priest?
That's the priest. He's blind. He lives on the top floor, and all he does is just look out the window. So
that's scary.
Yeah, it's very scary. Now, What's even scarier? Now, the film didn't do very well in the when it went out. When the box office, it didn't do very well. But I think it's by far one of the top creepiest films I've ever seen. But I want you all to know that one day when I got lost while I was in New York, I came across this building on 8 Remsen Street.
What?
Hello.
I think I see a blind priest looking out the window on the top floor.
Listen, I totally was not expecting, and it looks a little bit different now. It's a little bit more fixed up. But this was like right after when I was a flight attendant. I didn't know anything about New York City. And I got lost and I walked down to the edge of this and, you could oversee the water and everything was gorgeous. And then I was like looking at the water and then I turned around and I saw this building and I completely jumped out of my flesh.
I love it.
That's all I'm going to say. Scary. But that place does exist. If you want to go take a look at it, it's a 8 Remsen in New York City.
I'm going to look at this movie. I haven't seen it.
Oh, it is very good. It has some very good scare factors in it, and some pretty funny situations that occur in there too.
What's the name of it again?
It's called The Sentinel.
The Sentinel. Okay.
The film is rated R, by the way, because there is some nudity and there's some content, but it is really one of the best horror films that I think it has a cult following right now. And my second film that I wanted to introduce is The Believers. This also is a film that gave me the creeps. You know how I feel about anybody that's doing like, Santeria and, brujeria and all that other kind of stuff. So this is one of those films. So this film was done in 1987. It has Martin Sheen in it, who plays a psychiatrist who is tasked to find out if this religion of people exists, people who are hallucinating. He actually starts by inquiring because he's looking, one of his patients who happens to be played by Jimmy Smits is telling him that this place does exist, that these people do exist. And somehow his whole family gets involved in it. But his wife dies, and this cult sacrifices children, and his child is offered up as a sacrifice. So now it's like a timeline of him trying to make sure that his child is not sacrificed to this cult. Here's Jimmy Smits right here. It's like, that he's giving him a session. But
wow.
It is really, 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 there's a lot of realness to this for some reason. I'm not really sure why. I feel like this is a very real film, and maybe because it is that, the content itself is so believable, but one of the most terrifying films that I've ever watched. Okay. And then my next one is Something Wicked This Way Comes. I think we actually talked about this. This is a Disney film, but it is a film that was done by. It was written by Ray Bradbury. It was a poem by Ray Bradbury, from what I understand. I'm not quite sure if I remember that, but it's about this little small town kid who has a father that's older than he is. Who's older and who had a child late in life, and his father can't do a lot of things with his son because he's so old. But he has a friend named Jim Nightshade, and I forgot what the little boy's name is because my stuff is not loading up right now, so I can't read it. But basically, this circus. Dark Shades, Mr. Dark Circus his Pandemonium Circus comes to town. And what it does is it offers the people that are in this like dead end town in Greenville, I think it's Greenland or Greenville, Illinois, all their desires, everything they ever wish for. The problem is that this man right here that we see sitting here is, he's a guy that puts lightning poles on people's houses, but lightning brings light. And Darkshade wants to, Mr. Dark wants to make sure that this light does not come into, this community, so he could take over the community, basically. It has some really wonderful performances. Pam Grier plays a witch in there. She's like a timeless witch. She's a gorgeous witch.
Is that Pam Grier? I had no idea.
That is Pam Grier playing that part. Yes. Yes, it
is.
Yes, that's Pam Grier. How could you
not
notice
amazing.
her?
What?
Yeah.
This is one of my favorite movies. I can't believe that Pam Grier is in it. I didn't even know.
That's her as the witch.
Your life has been a lie.
Yeah.
I have to rewatch this now.
Yep, you have to watch it.
My life has been a lie.
But what Mr. Dark does is he plays on your worst fears, your worst nightmares. And that's what he tries to do. But these children have such a light in them that, of course, the children become heroes. And the relationship between the father and his son is, paramount here too. Love and light. So that's one of my favorite all-time films. That is a Disney film that's rated PG.
Even though we just saw a picture of a decapitated child's head.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean,
All right.
but it's PG.
I love this movie too.
So this is by far, a lot of people don't know about this film. It's called The Lady in White. This film was produced, I think, in 1980, like 84, 85, because I can't look at the years right now since my computer is dying on me.
I'll look it up while you
Okay.
talk about it.
So essentially what this is about this. Happens in 1962, and this is my era, and this is one of the reasons why I have such an affinity to this film. This little boy witnesses in a Halloween, in the week of a Halloween, his innocence is destroyed. He actually comes across a specter of a little girl. The little girl is in a perpetual, I would say, a perpetual residual haunting where she's being strangled by a killer, like a serial killer. And this little boy now is the ghost of the town. The ghost of these little children are asking him essentially to find out who this killer is.
It's amazing. It was made in 1988.
1988.
It was actually released in 88, starring Lucas Haas as the little boy.
Yes, yes. But it has
wow.
Jessica Tandy in it, some other notable actors. One of my favorite films. This is rated, I believe, PG. Is that right?
PG-13. PG-13.
PG-13. But by far one of my favorites. And just the right creepy vibe. It just gives you the same element, the right element of Halloween. And then my last one is Black Sabbath. Now, not too many people know about this particular film. I think this film was done in, can you check that for me?
Yep. I'll check it.
The band, right?
57?
Black Sabbath.
Yeah, that is the band is named Black Sabbath, but
63.
63. This film has Boris Karloff in it. So what it is, it's three stories. It was directed by an Italian director, all of them. And this, of course, did not do very well in the box office either. But it is such an incredibly creepy film. There are some stories in here that are just will get under your skin. And it is typical classical Italian horror. That's all I can say. But there are three stories of redemption. There is even probably one of the first films that introduces a lesbian relationship in it.
Ooh, I love it.
It alludes to that. This one is my favorite stories right here too.
This looks like The Exorcist. Look at this.
Yeah, look at that makeup.
Amazing.
But Boris Karloff, the last story has Boris Karloff in it, and I highly recommend that last story. It's very good. But all the stories are very good.
The visuals are gorgeous.
Yes. Gorgeously filmed, beautifully filmed, great colors. It's like, that CinemaScope color that, we know from the 60s.
Yeah.
So it has that brightness to it. But that is my favorite all-time five of my favorites for Halloween. And I'm sorry I can't give you more details, unfortunately, because my other computer is not working, but...
I have to admit something, Les. I haven't seen any of your five from tonight.
Oh, you have some good viewing in front of you.
You've got a lot of work to do then. You've got a lot of work to do.
I'll watch Black Sabbath if you watch Halloween Town.
Okay, it's a deal. I'll watch Halloween Town if you watch Black Sabbath. And I think you can find Black Sabbath on YouTube. Somebody put it on there.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah. Anyway, so this weekend past, all of us had the opportunity to watch a film. I'm just going to show the trailer of this film. Let me get this situated.
Can she find the right buttons?
can.
Okay.
Keep talking amongst
We're still no. We like to focus on you. Just
Don't
trying
do
to
that.
click the
Please
right
talk.
button.
Please talk. I'm going to
So this is a really interesting movie. We all sat down and watched this together, and we were interacting with each other the entire time. It was quite a roller coaster. Let me tell you, I'm glad that I was not eating dinner while I was watching this movie.
Can you see that screen?
We can, yeah.
Okay, let's see if we can get the audio, and here we go. Do you see that?
Yep, and I hear it.
To Katie 35th and to good health. Cheers. Cheers. Hey, you're more than welcome to hang with us tonight.
Yes, I would love that.
Let's do it.
How are you?
Doing great, Jen. How are you?
Doing good, thank you. We've been waiting for you guys. It's going to be a great night. We will take a good care of you. I hope you guys enjoy your appetite. I'm glad that you are filming our birthday like you told me you would.
Annabelle down in Holman. That bitch is in the dumpster.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
All right. Human Hibachi.
So, ladies and gentlemen, just want to share this with you. We have, and I'm so honored, some of the cast members and the director, Mario Cerrito III of Human Hibachi. I think we have with us this evening. Let's pull him up. Oh, let's see who's here.
Like Christmas.
Yeah, really.
It is like Christmas. I can't wait.
All
One
right.
day.
I can't see who's in the green room, so it's like a surprise.
It is. Let's see who was able to show up this evening. All right. Let's see. We have Mr. Jeff Alford.
Jeff.
Yeah.
Hey, welcome.
Mr. Wataru Nishida. Yeah.
Welcome.
And Mr. Mario Cerrito III. Hi.
What's up, guys?
Okay, hold up. Just make sure that I'm not sharing the screen anymore. Let me get out of here.
Yeah, I was just gonna say. I think the share the screen section is done. There we go.
Let's put this like I did for like this one. Ah, I'm so off.
Keep
this.
clicking
Hey!
buttons.
I just, hi, you all. I'm so happy to
What's
have
up?
you.
What's up?
Hey, what's up?
Hi. Oh my goodness. So I had the pleasure of interviewing you all last week for the Bit and Apple TV. I don't want to sound like, redundant with my questions, but of course this is new people watching this. So we
Right.
want to, make sure that the audience gets to get an idea of what this film is about. Obviously, we know that this takes place in a hibachi restaurant. But what is on the menu is very particular.
Yeah.
And it has and it has a particular audience that likes to savor human flesh.
Right.
What possessed you to make this film?
So I mean, I wanted to do something off the wall, something that's like just, kind of crazy. And I was tired of seeing the same kind of movies come out, horror films, especially, like everything kind of followed the same mold or trend. I was at a hibachi restaurant with my family, and the idea came across. We were drinking a little wine, and we said, what if they were crazy and they locked us in here and started serving humans for the people that come in late at night? I don't know. And I went with it.
Oh my goodness. I love you all because you have a mind like that. That's like a conversation that Annabelle and August and I would definitely have. We would have a conversation like that.
Definitely.
We have met our people here. We have definitely. And so when you did the film, what was it? I mean, how long did it take you to shoot the film? What was your budget like? And by the way, the graphics are amazing. There were no special effects here, you all know CGI. This was all straight, latex. It looks so authentic. And
we kept saying that over and over again when we were watching this movie. How the heck did they do that? Because it looks so good.
Yeah.
Those faces, those pie faces were off the freaking wall. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
Exactly. So, to answer your question, I put most of the budget was in the special effects on set because I didn't want to get into any CGI. You know what I mean? So I mean that's where a lot of the budget went. It took about 12 days to shoot it. I would say about 12, 13 days. But yeah, so my main focus was on like the CGI part of this, or not CGI, the special effects part.
So what you actually were able to do though in this in particular, where you got a lot of meat, from what I understand. You got a lot of meat.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that. Let's talk about the meat because when we were watching it, I told this to you the other day when we were watching it. I hadn't had anything to eat and I was starving. And that meat was looking so good, and I had to really just like talk about something like, oh my God, this is human flesh you're looking at. This is human.
Yeah, right, exactly.
This is not a rib. Yeah, this is not a rib from this is not a pork rib.
Yeah.
It's not beef rib. This is human flesh.
Right, exactly, right.
So what happened?
It was funny because I had a special effects girl on the film that I hired. And I was consulting with her, and I said, should we try and make this stuff, or should I go to the butcher shop and buy it? So I went to the butcher shop, and he looked at me like I had 3 heads, and I bought like 15 pounds of meat. So that was our intestines, our heart, our kidneys. Yeah. So that's kind of how. Yeah.
How did you keep this fresh? How did you keep this meat fresh?
So what happened is I had to keep it in my fridge because I bought it, I would say like 4 days before the shoot. So I kept it in my fridge. My wife thought I was nuts because I had tons of meat in my fridge. And that's how I kept it fresh. And then on set, I just had it on ice. So,
my goodness. And it didn't get rancid or anything.
Exactly. And that was one of my biggest concerns was, it going bad because the actors were actually eating this stuff. So, I was sweating for those 2 days because I didn't want to, give anybody food poisoning or something. So
now Jeff, how did you hire your cast specifically for this? What were the auditions like for this particular film? And did you tell them what they were getting themselves into?
Yeah, what's crazy is like I had open auditions, and I handpicked a couple people too, people that I felt would have fit the role that I was looking for. Jeff was handpicked. Wateroo actually came and auditioned, so because I was looking for Asian American actors, obviously for the film. So I called for a bunch of Asian American actors to come out, and Wateroo, I knew as soon as I saw him that he was going to be the restaurant owner. He just fit the role perfectly.
And
he was amazing. Wateroo, you were amazing in this movie. I mean,
but I had no idea what I was getting into. But I tell you, when I read the script, oh my gosh, this is gonna be a thrill. It's gonna be fun,
And you brought it home. Like you were like the entire cast was 1000% committed to this entire movie all the way through. It was such a joy to watch.
Yes.
You know, and you know what's funny about that is like that always crossed my mind when I was doing this film was like, man, I got to get actors that are really like down for this because it's not something like, you know, like the guy that was sitting at the table that we had talked about with the genitalia in his mouth. Like that, like these actors really gave it their all, and that's what I needed from them. I needed them to trust me, and you know, it worked out good.
So we need to tell everybody about that because you gave away a really huge clue.
Right.
We could not stop watching that part.
Yeah.
We knew, and Eddie and August and I are actors, so we've actually done this before.
Right.
The commitment that it took to have that in his mouth through that whole entire scene was unbelievable.
We were thinking, was he on the phone with his agent? Did his agent realize this was going to be something that was going on?
I know.
Did this cause renegotiation?
The fact is, he's gonna always be known for that role. Yeah, he's gonna be
the original script. So I kind of like did it on the fly, and I was like, "Listen, man, I have an idea. It's like you got to be able to trust me." He's like, "All right, I trust you." So it was one of them kind of things.
Wow.
Yeah.
He must really love you because he trusted you a lot on that. He must have really loved you for that.
Yeah,
that was a highlight for me, realizing that he was fully committed to that position for so long in the movie.
Yeah, I mean, we shot that scene. It probably took a good 8 hours.
I'm sure.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
His jaw must have been hurting.
Oh man, and it was hot. It was in the middle of July, I think.
Oh wow.
Well, in honor of that scene, I had Italian sausage tonight for dinner.
That's great.
So when you were on this set and you were around all this gore and everything, how was it to walk on set every day and see this amount of gore, this amount of blood? You know, how was it?
I love that stuff. So to me, it's kind of like a kid walking into a candy shop, just because I'm a big horror fan. So to me, you know, especially when you're producing it, it's like you just let your imagination run wild. So you know, it's like it's awesome. I wish I could do it every day, make a film every day, but you can't. So I relish in that.
So Waterloo, of course, you were saved you were saved from eating any of the food. You were just enjoying it as the restaurant owner and everything.
Mm-hmm.
How did you feel just watching everybody else eat it? Was it hard? I mean, what was your gag reflex level on it?
You know, I mean, that whole scene was shot throughout the night. It was overnight shooting, right? And I was actually starving myself, and it smells so good. It was so, you know, in my mind, you know, like so hard to put myself out of that, the desire to eat because I was so hungry. But, you know, it was, you know, but it was great in terms of those, you know, meat. Smell really got me into the role that I needed to be in. And I was kept on thinking, oh my gosh, it's going to be a longer shoot. But it really made it to be a realistic scene that actually that eating is taking place in the middle of the night. Because that would have been really the scene, you know, throughout the night, people come into this restaurant eating these human flesh. So it was actually, in my mind, it is taking place right now. That was convincing for me.
Oh my goodness. See, I think, Mario, that you've actually turned people into, you know, even considering it, you know, eating the flesh. I mean, just think about it being on the grill.
I take no liability.
Wait, listen. Then when the chef was putting all that meat and chopping everything up on the grill, oh my goodness, it was so delicious. And Jeff, you had a scene where there's a scene where they are, I would say, reveling in fluids.
Oh.
What was that like?
Well, that was so I guess I'll say I was the clean cannibal because I didn't Stafford and Andy Hunsaker, they're the ones that got covered in blood. I guess I was written in as the clean cannibal. But it really brought it home. It was really with all that gore. And by the time we finished shooting that scene, by the time about 7 a.m. I guess we wrapped. I was pretty full. It was great to see. And but a scene, another the other scene, the dinner table scene with the blender. Um, a little another behind the scenes thing here. What we were actually eating was Mario's mom's meatballs, and that was for your viewers out there. So a little that was great.
So
But
meatballs and sauce,
yeah,
meatballs and
Oh
sauce,
yeah.
and
Oh
oh
meatballs
yeah,
and red
red
sauce.
red gravy. Yeah,
Oh
as
man.
we call it, that was our Sunday gravy. And I said, "Yo, Ma, can I use that for my film?" And she was like, "Sure." She's like, "I'll pack it."
it was great.
That's such an Italian. That's such an Italian. Yo, ma.
Yo, Ma.
Hey, forget about it.
Hey,
Sunday gravy.
we need some
recipe.
sauce.
You're right. We got a special thanks credit too.
But I really have to add this when we first sat down at the table in the kitchen, of course, with Lautaro as Jin, our maitre d, there in the kitchen. This underground this dining club, and Carmine, who had his head through the table. Of course, we had Mario had a plastic over table, with a hole cut out, his head sticking through, and of course he's kneeling on the floor the whole time, and he was so still, and had his head through a platter. It was a platter on both sides of his neck. And as I sat down, and I literally did not realize this was a real person. I didn't realize. He was so still when we sat down, and we all took our places. We sat, and I'm like looking, and I guess I was just because of the set dressing. Mario did just an incredible job. Just really, it was so realistic. Um, and Carmine, I guess he sneezed or something, and I was sitting right next to him. And I literally realized that this was actually. I thought it was a fake head. The way he was so still, and I realized it was a real person there, and I literally jumped. It was definitely a real visceral moment.
I have to ask you that. What was the creep value of being on set? I mean, did you all feel creepy being there, knowing that you were making a film? Because
Yeah.
actors actually internalize a lot of their characters, what they're going through. So how did you feel? And did you have dreams after this? Nightmares?
I did. I mean, I know. I did. It was a very realistic set, and it really, the special effects, the FX that Mario used were incredibly realistic, and they weren't edible though. They weren't edible. Mario said, "Eat this, but not that."
Right.
He had to tell us that this is just like synthetic. So. And I think was it gelatin, Mario? The fingers were gelatin. I guess you made them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like
Gelatin.
colored. Yeah, it forms. Yeah, really great.
Yep.
Mhm.
So is the genitalia.
Right.
Gelatin.
That was one of the things I've been pondering. I'm like, what did that taste like? 'Cause
Yeah.
that's obviously not the butcher shop.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Those
So
look so good, by the way. The production on the genitalia and the fingers was top notch.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it came out good.
Very good.
Very
Very,
cool.
very realistic.
Really
That's
good.
something that I met this cast, and I didn't get to meet Walter and Jeff or Mario, but I met the rest of the cast, which is John Campanile and Stafford. That I got to meet them at the New Jersey Horror Con in Atlantic City. And one of the things that actually drew me to them was that they had this beautiful table set up with china and everything, and all these fingers, and I don't know what else was on there, and it was and the tablecloth was drenched in blood.
We got kicked out of the place for that, I think.
Did you really?
Started leaking on the ground at the casino. Yeah, they were like,
Oh, they got. I had no idea. But the table looked so real. It had like brains and everything like that. I was like, what is this? And I just immediately went over there and, I just gravitated to that table. It was so horrific and gory. It was just, oh, it was wonderful. I
Yeah.
loved every bit of it.
Thank you.
So I hear that you're thinking about doing Human Hibachi 2. Am I correct?
Yeah. You know what's funny is like I'm tossing the idea around whether it's going to be. I think I'm going to go prequel.
Ooh.
Before who was Jin before this, and how did he get into this? And I think that's where I'm going to go with it.
That would be really good. I'd be really into that.
Ooh,
Right,
I'd love to
exactly.
see that.
My
Yeah, like
sharing that
kind
too.
of like yeah, like where he learned to do this. Maybe showing him in Japan where he saw things and yeah.
Or
So
maybe that he was part of the Yakuza and that's where he learned how to do it. I mean, I'm already writing the story.
Yeah.
Because he plays mobster types, and if you look at his headshots on IMDb, oh my gosh, he looks so good. Those
Yeah.
pictures are so good. It would be perfect.
Yeah.
That would be a perfect storyline.
So we
Oh
have
my
Yeah.
god.
Japan, Mario, right? We got to go to Japan.
Yeah, man, I would love to do
We're
that.
gonna shoot it in Japan, right?
Yeah,
Oh,
I mean, if I
shoot.
would, yeah, I mean, if I were to do a prequel, it would be shot big budget wise, and it wouldn't be shot found footage. It'd be shot like regular film. So yeah,
I'm going in somebody's suitcase. I just want to let you know.
I know,
I'm going
right?
in somebody's suitcase. Yes, going to Japan. That's one of my
That'd be so
things on my
cool. I
bucket
would love
list. Absolutely. So one of the things that I introduced Annabelle and August to was the fact that you, Mario, live in an authentic haunted house,
Yes,
and that you were featured on Ghost Nation.
yes.
So actually, let me pull this up so that the audience can see this. So tell us a little bit about this. This episode was season. Let me see. I think I put it on here. Season 1, episode 3.
Yep.
And in this episode, it's called The Novelist's Nightmare. Is that what it was called?
Yep.
Yeah. So when did you all discover that your house was actually haunted? And what did the investigation, what was the results of the investigation?
So yeah, we bought the house about 4 years ago. When we first moved in, my mother-in-law was the first one to hear like talking up in the attic, and we just like paid it no mind, whatever. And as time went on, my stepdaughter really started to see things, hear things, and then my wife started to get in tune to it too. And then I actually had an experience in the basement. I fell asleep, and all my son's toys were down there, and they all went off at the same time. Like it was insane. And I kind of tried to ignore it and close my eyes to see if it would stop. And it happened again. And I was like, okay, now we need to call ghost hunters because I'm not dealing with this. So we brought in local ghost hunters. They found all kinds of stuff. They had all their meters and everything. It was going off the charts. So they actually got in touch with the Travel Channel, Ghost Nation, the guys that did the original Ghost Hunters, right there, and they picked our house to come, and they came and they solved it. I mean, they said it was a high electromagnetic field (EMF), and they said they'd never seen something that high before. And I kind of describe it as like bugs attracting to a light, a street light. That's what spirits do. If you have real high EMF, they'll attract to it, and that's why they were coming to our house, and they fixed it. So
it's been clear ever since.
yeah.
After they fixed it. Wow, that's amazing.
For the most part, yeah. Maybe little things here and there, but nothing near what it was. Yeah. So it's crazy.
Well, you said that it actually kind of kicks up whenever you're writing.
When I write, that's when it was kicking up. Yeah, because when I write screenplays all the time, but when I'm writing, because I write dark stuff, horror stuff, it kicks up, and I don't know if it's feeding off the energy of what I'm putting out there or what it is, but that's kind of when it
Man, I tell you, that's a lot of things.
Creepy.
But the fact that you write, this is like the Human Hibachi is not the only thing that you wrote. So now you have something that actually has just gotten picked up that you're actually going to be working with somebody. So let me just show this to the audience because this is really cool.
Yeah.
And I want to know how this came about, how this relationship came about.
Yeah.
So you have a film that you wrote called The House in the Pines.
Yes.
Can you just kind of explain to the audience who you're going to be working with and why,
Yeah.
how this came about, how this this collaboration came about.
Yeah, so it came from Human Hibachi. It stemmed off that because I was at the New Jersey HorrorCon, and Mick Strawn was there signing autographs where they have like the celebrities back in that little room that they had. So I had just walked up to him, I shook his hand, I talked to him, and I said, "Listen," I was like, "I got a screenplay that I'm working on that I want to send you." And I'm just thinking like, whatever, like this guy's worked on the biggest films in the horror films in history, in my opinion. Nightmare on Elm Street, Candyman, Blade. He was the production designer on those films. So I Facebook requested him, and then I said, "Hey, do you remember me?" And he was like, "Sure." He's like, "What's up?" And I was like, "The screenplay's done." So I sent it to him, thinking nothing of it because I know, whatever. I took a shot in the dark, and he read it, and he read it so much that he goes, "Dude, I want to direct this." So I was like,
Whoa.
yeah. So I was like, wow. And that guy right there that was just on that picture, Nick Benson, is his like right hand man. He did all the special effects on Nightmare on Elm Street, and so now he's tied in. So it's it took off from like screenplay to like now I'm messing with like Hollywood horror people. So
Wow. And that's like a very niche group. Like
yeah,
they only create this kind of contract. So you're going to be running in a circle that,
right,
it's a specific type of circle that everybody pretty much knows everybody and they work on
exactly.
each other's films. That is
Yes.
so amazing.
Yeah.
That is so amazing.
Thank you. And yeah, it's like one of those things like when you're an independent filmmaker, like you can only do so much because what happens is you get like, limited because of budget. So now when you start like attaching gentlemen like that can bring in the bigger budgets because now, the investors and all that, they see like, oh, well, look what they've done. And that's how, you cross that threshold from like an independent filmmaker to now you're doing something on a higher level. So.
Wow, that's great. So when do you,
Yeah.
I know with everything that's going on with COVID and everything, but what's your projected production or
So right now we're in pre-production. We're like location scouting, doing all that stuff. I would say we want to start shooting it probably the spring, summer of next year. So
ooh.
yeah.
Can you give a little hint about what the storyline is, or is that still kind of
No, I can give you a little bit. So it's basically based out of the New Jersey Pine Barrens. It's an '80s throwback type script. So I would think in the minds of like Friday the 13th and whatever, but it's got a paranormal element to it too. From like what I've experienced in my house, I kind of tied into the script. So it's like a slasher / paranormal throwback film with like a big twist.
ooh.
Well, I'm a huge fan of '80s horror movies. So.
Yeah. Well, that's why
Yeah.
these guys signed on to do it because they did the films in the '80s, and this is like reminding them of what they used to do. And so it kind of worked out nice.
Oh wow.
Kinda.
Yeah.
Congratulations. That's awesome. That is really awesome.
Very exciting.
So
Thank you.
I'm very excited. I have to tell you that working, just actually knowing Mario, Wataru, Jeff, Stafford, John, Charmaine, I really feel like this is family, and I hope that one day we do get to do some kind of collaboration as far as like horror collaboration, writing, things like
Would
that,
love to.
because I think the ensemble group often works, and it has worked in like American Horror Story or Penny Dreadful when you bring in the same cast members because you know what you're going to get. You don't have to,
Exactly.
you know you're going to get quality work out of these people, and all
Exactly.
of you all did such an excellent job with you and Hibachi. It really reminded me of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which Eddie, of course, you highlighted today as one of your top 5.
Yep, one of my top 5.
Yes.
Mine too.
Yeah. I think what it was just
Toby Hooper, man, he just is amazing.
now
He's
that's
totally
somebody
amazing.
to work with one day. Him
Yeah.
and John
Oof.
Carpenter, my favorites.
Oh,
really,
yeah.
really, yeah. All right. So where can we find you all on social media? Because we just want to give our audience, have them following you and, keeping up with your work.
Jeff, you want to go first, and then
Yeah, sure. I'm Jeff Alpert on Facebook for now, and I have a website, jeffalpert.net. Just no space, just Jeff Alpert.net, and I'm supposed to be. People tell me I'm supposed to be getting my Instagram kind of up and running. I have like 200 and some odd followers or whatever, but I haven't posted anything. So I'm not an Instagram person yet, but I will be working on that. But jeffalpert.net and my website, jeffalpert.net for now. Yeah.
Jeff, by the way, you have such a great look.
Oh,
I want
thank
to
you.
tell you that. You
Thank you,
really
Leslie.
do.
Yeah.
You have a great
Thank you.
look.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Appreciate that.
All right, Mario, go ahead. You want
Me?
to go? Or what, Daru? Go ahead.
I only have actual Facebook, and I don't do any other social media. I'm old-fashioned like that. I know I have to get started on. Like my daughter always tell me, "Why don't you open up?" And I just don't. But I guess I should. But only social media I have is Facebook, and if you type in my name, Wataru Nishida, now you'll be able to find.
Okay. Well, we want to see that Instagram and Twitter
Yeah,
one day.
that TikTok.
Yeah. No. Yeah, you doing your dance challenges,
That's-
Wataru.
Join
Human Hibachi Cast does the cinnamon challenge.
All right. Mario, how about you?
You can find me at most local pizza shops. I'm always eating pizza. Yeah. No, I too don't have a web page, but I am on Facebook, Mario Cerrito III, Instagram, Mario Cerrito III, and Twitter, Mario Cerrito III. So.
All right. All right.
Yeah.
So before I let this cast go, I have to ask you this question because we have been highlighting our top 5. I know this is a very difficult question to ask, but if I did like a lightning round, what is your favorite all-time Halloween movie that scares you even to this day if you watch it? Jeff, what's yours?
That would have to be Stephen King's 1408. Is a film adaptation of his novella, of the short story 1408. That just with John Cusack. Oh man, that's got to be creepy, and that was. I have a funny story about that film, but I'll say it for another time. But 1408 would be my lightning round.
That's a good pick.
Wait, can you tell us that story like in a real quick Reader's Digest version?
Oh yeah, sure. So we had went rented a big log home, up in PA with some friends of ours for like a big Halloween party, and a few people stayed over in the house. This house had like 9 bedrooms. It was huge. It was a big log home, and the upstairs was this big long hall, and very dark. So a few of us had gotten together in the great room and watched 1408, watched this film, and it just really wigged me out. I had never seen it before, and my wife Christina was there with us, and so anyway, so a little later in the evening, one of the couple he was doing some paperwork for work in the kitchen, and we were just talking about the film and some other things, and his partner, when my wife and I had gone up to bed to our room at the end of this long hall, this big dark house, somebody had taken an envelope and put 1408 on it and put it up on our door. And so I'm like, all right, we're done. I was like, freaked me out. Anyways, they were having
only good friends do things like that.
Only good friends, yes. Yeah, very good.
All right, Wataru, what's your favorite?
There's Japanese horror movie. It's called The Audition. I don't know.
Yes.
Oh, that would be my all-time horror movie.
That actually is on my list, you all. Audition is on my list.
Oh, it's so creepy, scary.
Yes. Very, 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 very good. And why do you feel, if you can, just tell the audience a little bit about the story since they don't, if you have not seen this particular, it's a famous Japanese horror film.
Right. It's just, this lead actress, the lady who's in the movie, her personality and how she act out in the film is so creepy to me. It's so real to me because I have seen girls like that in Japan. Actually. It just reminded me of, oh my God, could she be like that? Or, just it keeps you like this imagination going, and that how story unfold is just so scary. I mean, I'm not gonna give away too much for audience, but I really recommend for this Halloween if you're up for that thrill.
I highly recommend it as well. There is nothing like Japanese horror films. I just highly recommend it, or Asian horror films for that matter. if we as Americans try to translate it, it doesn't have the same effect as it does when it's written. I don't know what we're missing in translation, but those films are terrifying. Terrifying. All right, Mario.
Hey, I got a couple. I would have to say it's going to sound bland, but the original Halloween.
No,
Totally.
That
was my number one. That was my number one.
That is not bland. That is not bland.
It's not bland. It's cliche. You know what I mean?
Oh no.
Yeah,
No.
that's just. I think what did it for me on that film is I think it's one of the best scores. That John Carpenter score on that is just,
gorgeous.
It's just
so effective. So effective.
It is. It's so minimal. Wow. It's so minimal, but it's so effective, and that's what did it for me. That film.
Oh yeah. And what's your other one?
I think The Shining. Stephen King's The Shining.
Yeah, that was on my list earlier today.
Yeah,
we just hit it.
Yeah, that film, partly because now that I've dealt with paranormal stuff, you know what I mean? And I just think the writing in that film's just amazing. And, Jack Nicholson's amazing. So,
yeah. I think that might be like a lot of people's favorites.
And Kubrick did the directing. I mean, give me a break.
Everything
now, did you know
it.
they did a TV spinoff? Did you see that one?
I did see that one.
Which I thought was okay.
That one followed the book better. That one was more like the book. Yeah,
it did. And I enjoyed that one too. So
yeah. Well, did you see the follow-up? Did you see Dr. Sleep?
No, I did not see that.
Okay, well,
I saw that one.
No, I didn't see that.
We'll talk about that one next time.
Definitely.
I would love to have you all back just to talk about everything that's going out. Where this is the audience. Where can we find Human Hibachi so that people can watch it?
All right, so I'll give you a little briefing real quick. So right now, Human Hibachi is directly on the website, humanhibachi.com. It was banned from Amazon for the reason we talked about before, the genitalia thing. They wouldn't pick it up. So you can go directly on humanhibachi.com.
I didn't realize they had limitations on what they would sell.
They do. Believe it or not, they send it back to me. They sent the screenshot of the actual picture. I was like, oh, okay, thanks. But,
I want to be that Amazon reviewer.
You're one of the few people that got a certain type of picture from Amazon.
Yes, exactly. But I will say this. There will be a DVD release coming out soon, and I'm talking to a distribution company tomorrow, actually, about them picking it up and putting it on VOD, video on demand platforms, which would be like Vudu, Hulu, all them, So yeah.
People who can take that content.
Correct. Yeah, there's certain but I can't put them on those platforms, so you need a distributor. So.
Okay. Well, in my opinion, hey, it is what you get. I mean, I feel like a disclaimer will do. We knew what we were getting ourselves into.
Exactly, right.
So I don't know.
Look at the title, like that.
Exactly.
Hello.
No brainer.
Not ponies and unicorns.
All right, so we're definitely going to have you all back on the show later. We're going to we'll probably talk about some other content because I understand that all of you all love horror films, and you're just, you're like family to me. I really love you all. And we have to just keep getting the word out there about what you're doing. You're doing great things. You all were very fun. You all were phenomenal in the movie. You really were.
Thank you.
The character was good. And I know that it's going to go down as a cult classic. Just because of what we're talking about right now, that whole scene with the genitalia, that is going to be forever. Everybody's going to be rewinding that and forwarding and rewinding it and everything.
The dark comedy in it too. That's the dark comedy.
It's great. It's so entertaining.
Yeah.
Definitely. All right. Thank you so much for coming this evening. We really appreciate you all.
Thank you, Leslie.
And I will see you all soon.
Yes. Thanks for having us.
Okay.
Thank you, Leslie.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye-bye, you all.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye, Watu. All right. Yay. I just loved it that we got to talk to them.
Definitely. We're still live?
Yeah, we are still live. We're not
Excellent.
going yet.
We're not going yet.
we're not gone because you know we have something that we have to do every night
Oh,
before we close out.
absolutely.
All right. So, as you all know, we like to close our show every Friday evening highlighting someone who is missing. Tonight, we would like to highlight somebody that's missing. Let me just pull up this information. Can you see that?
Sure can.
Okay. So, the missing person that we're highlighting this evening is Jalik L. Rainwalker. Jalik, um, he was been missing since I think that he's been missing since 2007. He's from Greenwich, New York. His birth date is August the 2nd, 1995. He has green eyes. He's 105 pounds. He's biracial, light brown hair, 5'6", and he has a speech impediment. He says his R's like W's. He was last seen on November 2007 at a residence in Greenwich, New York. He was last seen wearing blue jeans, a yellow fleece pullover, a gray t-shirt with a dragon on the front, and black canvas high-top sneakers. He goes by the nickname Jay. If you see him, and this is time imposed right here because this may be what he looks like now since he's been missing since 2007. But if you see him, they're asking that you please contact the field office of the FBI in Albany. They also ask that if you see him overseas, contact the American Embassy immediately and tell of his whereabouts. As you all know, we like to highlight that somebody is missing, some family member is out there, missing a family member. And so we just want to pray for these people who are missing people, missing loved ones. We wish you well. You're in our prayers, and we'll see you next Friday. Have a good night.